Welcome back, mi gente. I'm George Laws Garcia of the Puerto Rico Statehood Council, and this is part 2 of our 3-part series with Resident Commissioner of Puerto Rico, Congresswoman Jenniffer González-Colón.
5 million Puerto Ricans living on the mainland, and just 3 living on the island. We all got a friend, cousin, an aunt, family members living in the States.
In part 2 of our series, we get personal.
My sister was living on the island, and she decided to move to Alaska. Why? Because it was better opportunities there for my niece and for her quality of life.
And highlight the urgency of ending the 125 years of territorial inequality. We also explore the nonpartisan nature of support for statehood on the island, where it has consistently won in referendums over the last decade. Before we dive into the conversation, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave your comments on this video. By subscribing, you'll be the first to know when we release new content, ensuring that you never miss out on the latest discussions surrounding Puerto Rico's statehood movement. Now, get ready to be informed, inspired, and motivated to take action alongside the 3.2 million U.S. citizens of Puerto Rico. In order to end Puerto Rico's unjust territorial relationship with the U.S., the options for its political status are statehood or independence with or without free association. For you at a personal level, why do you support statehood for Puerto Rico?
First of all, the 30 options you're giving me are not options that I decided to be the only ones for Puerto Rico. It's the U.S. Department of Justice who determined that those are the only non-territorial, non-colonial options to the island. Because I heard many people saying that we need another fourth choice or remain as we are. I mean, we've been part of the U.S. for 125 years. Why we should keep being a colony, the oldest colony in the world. I mean, the United States is the beacon of democracy, the beacon of freedom. We're fighting around the world to provide democracy to many other countries. And yet, your own backyard, you still got a colony. That you're treating people differently, even when they are U.S. citizens by birth. And that, for me, is a shame. Why I believe statehood is the way to go. I believe Puerto Rico is going to become a state. I don't have any doubt about that. The question is how long it's going to take us to approve that in the House and in the Senate and having a president to sign on that. How long it took to the people in the United States to actually have civil rights, to allow the vote for Afro-Americans. How long it took that fight and how many blood was shed by that fight. I believe that the time has come that Puerto Rico should step up and not just fight for the right, but claim what is ours. The way of Puerto Ricans have inserted themselves in American culture, in music, in science. I mean, many of the astronauts and engineers working in NASA are coming from Puerto Rico.
Like the chief astronaut, Joseph Acabot, right?
You may have a lot of them. I mean, in the music, you got a Supreme Court Justice, Sonia Sotomayor, coming from the island as well. So we're part of the American fabric. We're part of it since the beginning. Why we need to wait longer time? I mean, we already mature. We already know what we need to do. And I think many people may say, let's them to think and decide what option they want. It is Congress, the one with the responsibility given by the Constitution to solve and admit states. The only one who can admit Puerto Rico as a state is the United States Congress. So we need to have a bill in order for that to happen. I think the will is there in the people of the island. People have voted for statehood not once, twice, 3 times in a row, and people are voting for statehood. Look at this issue. Many people believe that this is a Republican or a Democratic issue, and it's not. Actually, statehood got more votes than any other political party on the island during the last election. So this is an issue of consent. People of Puerto Rico consent that we need to become a state, regardless of your political party affiliation. That never happens before. So if you ask me, this is the will of the people who live in the island, who suffers in the island. They don't want to move. They want to remain on the island. They want to become part of the state. I will tell you my personal experience. My sister was living on the island, and she decided to move to Alaska. Not Florida, nor Texas,
Wow.
Alaska. Why? Because it was better opportunities there for my niece and for her quality of life. Why we should have family members leaving the island, not because they don't want to remain on the island, because they don't have any other choice. We do have a choice, and it's making Puerto Rico a state, allowing the people living on the island to fulfill their desire, to fulfill whatever is going to be their future. And this is a way I need to do that fight. That was the reason I was elected. People on the island voted for me because they want to finish this unfinished business of democracy, which means allowing Puerto Rico to become a state. This is the way I feel, the way as a Republican, as an American, and as a Puerto Rican. We want to become a state. I want to vote for my president. I want to vote for my senators. I want to vote for more members of Congress, not just me, to help me out and to represent the rest of the islands. We do have the same problems as many other states. The difference is they do have representation. In the case of Puerto Rico, they just got me, my voice, but not my vote, because I'm not being considered anytime there's voting in the floor of the House. So that means you cannot do exchange, you cannot negotiate, you cannot make things happen when you cannot vote.
And that story that you're saying about your sister is something that I definitely resonate with, because many of my family members have left stateside. I have family members in Florida. I have family members in New York. I have family members in Texas.
5 million Puerto Ricans living on the mainland, and just 3 living on the island. We all got a friend, a cousin, an aunt, family members living in the States. I do know many people who his wife are on the island and they're working in the States and visiting during the weekends. Why is that? Why we need to do that if we can provide the same opportunities back home?
Definitely.
And this is not government. This is allowing private sector to take charge. This is allowing private sector to have the same rules, the same administrative positions, not what's happening with Puerto Rico. Because you're a possession, because you're a territory, you can be treated different. And with that uncertainty, nobody can do business on the island.
Hey mi gente, we hope you enjoyed part 2 of this series. Before we wrap up, make sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media to stay in the loop for future videos, including part 3 of this series.